Hey, Canon collectors, and welcome back to, what is this? This is the 14th Bad Batch reaction? Yeah, I think so. Let's dive in and see what they have in store for us today. Episode 14, War-Mantle. After receiving a mysterious distress call, the Batch tracks it to a secret facility. Okay, so I don't exactly know what secret facility they may be referring to. I can't really think of anything right off the bat. The only thing that I think it could be is something related to the clones. Now,
I kind of want to push back against my own theories about that because we've seen one Kaminoan sort of secret facility.
A secret facility. This could be for a ton of different stuff. And given Project War-Mantle, the title, which we know from Rogue One, but we know earlier on in this series, they talked about how Project War-Mantle was the sort of stormtrooper initiative, and it literally just hit me as I was kind of talking about this, but this is definitely what this is about. So never mind. That's absolutely not a secret Kaminoan facility. This is totally a thing about the Empire. Okay, never mind. I'm throwing all of that away. Project War-Mantle is one of the secret Empire projects that we heard about in Rogue One, and then they brought it into this show to essentially be the sort of stormtrooper program after the clones. It's sort of getting the regular sort of everyday Empire citizen to sign up to become part of the Empire, the Empire's army, the stormtrooper program. So that's definitely what this is. And I kind of have a feeling that this mysterious distress call could just be Crosshair knowing that the Batch is going to do good and that they might not be able to pass up an opportunity to reach out to a distress call. So they're going to go check it out. They're going to stumble upon some sort of secret Empire something or other, and then Crosshair is going to take them out. This is definitely not a Kaminoan theory anymore. Throw that out. That was stupid. Use your context clues, man. You got so many context clues here that you can use. So, all right, they are definitely going to be running into probably some sort of Empire base in this. Whether Crosshair is involved or not, we don't exactly know. I would kind of guess more than likely, and especially now that we are on episode 14, which means that we only have 2 other episodes after we finish this one. So we could be sort of in a final 3-episode arc for the ending of the first season of the Bad Batch, or we are getting a little small pocket story. Because we are going to be in arm's reach of the Empire, I would imagine that Crosshair will be, picking up the trail at some point. If not, at the beginning of the episode, definitely by the end, which would lead us into kind of a 2-part finale. Or if we got another one of these episodes where it's kind of, again, 2 ships passing in the night. I said that last week and kind of hoped that that's what last week's episode was going to be. And I think, potentially we could have that be this week and next week even, if they wanted to do that with a final sort of actual meetup at the end somewhere in episode 16. So this title and description says a lot, right? Let's check out our thumbnail here. It really isn't much. It's just Omega piloting the Batch's ship, I'm gonna imagine, which is big on its own because we haven't seen Omega sort of take the pilot's chair, the pilot's seat, and fly anything just yet. Well, outside of her and Hera, I guess, because in theory she's at least co-pilot, and she does have a mean sort of determined look on her face, so could absolutely totally be heard flying as a part of a mission. But that really doesn't tell us a whole lot about Project War-Mantle or the actual description. Project War-Mantle in the description right here say a lot about this episode without saying anything about this episode. It definitely tells us that we're going to be diving into some Empire stuff. We're definitely going to be diving into more of the stormtroopery side of things, thankfully, but it also doesn't really say anything. It doesn't say anything about what this means for the rest of the show, or even really what this means for the episode. There's a couple different routes we could go down here, and I don't know just which one they're gonna take. This is great. This is kind of the perfect level of the description and the title said a lot, but it also said nothing. And this was something that I kind of complained about before, where it's like you read some of these titles and it like literally says nothing. Like, which one was it? Episode 10, Common Ground. The batch has their ideology challenged. Wow, if that's just not something that happens every single week. Like, how can you give that to us? At least this one has a very bold and recognizable title, and then it has this great little description which tells you exactly what they're going to be doing, but it also doesn't necessarily spell anything out. And like we just saw earlier, my brain went in 100 other different directions before it decided to re-look at the title and go, oh, of course. So this is perfect. I think there's a lot of people who are going to read this, do exactly what I did, completely not even think about it, move on to the episode, and then like totally get shocked, probably come back, look at this and go, wow, I'm an idiot, like I did. Enough theorizing. It's time to dive in to episode 14 of The Bad Batch, entitled War-Mantle. The Bad Batch. All right, what are we opening with? Okay. It's another big, sprawling landscape, but definitely different. I like it. Not in the... Ooh, man, look at that. Look at that light just peeking through those trees. Woo! Okay, we got a clone. Is this, what was his name? Hauser? Is this somebody else? Oh, dude, they're not showing the helmets. You know. He's got no helmet either, and that armor looks a little funky, eh? Doesn't look quite right. Oh, this is a big, juicy episode. Ooh, I didn't know you could, like, target specific parts of the body. That's really cool. Anybody? No, we're not going to show the helmets. This is like Jaws.
We're being hailed. It's Rex.
Ooh, oh, okay.
Hello, boys. Sorry to cut right to it, but I could use your help. I received a distress signal from a clone trooper, but I'm a bit tied up at the moment to retrieve it. He's an old friend, and he's in trouble.
Is it
Is
Wolf? Is it Gregor? Who? Dude.
I'll be in touch.
Oh.
What was that?
Oh. Yo, is he like with Ahsoka right now? There is some crazy stuff going on.
May I remind you that we are in the middle of a job for Sid. If we deviate, we will not be compensated. No money means no food.
I don't think they care.
But Rex's friend is in trouble. That's more important than getting paid.
Okay, Omega. You gotta chill, girl. You make these guys do so much work because of your righteous nature. You gotta chill out.
Fine. We'll check things out.
Every single week,
like it.
it's her just guilt-tripping the crap out of the rest of the batch. It's hilarious. I love it. Okay.
The operation is ahead of schedule.
Your training will continue elsewhere.
We'll still be soldiers, won't we?
Of course. That is what you were made for.
Oof. Some things are gonna go down right now.
The Empire is not like the Republic. We have empowered them to our own detriment. I fear they will destroy us rather than allow this operation to continue.
Yeah, that
We
is
must
exactly
leave
what
to
I thought.
ensure our survival. Gather those essential. I will arrange for our departure.
Yup, that totally tracks. The Empire is just gonna wipe them out. There's no way they're keeping them alive. That is gorgeous. Look at that. That looks real. These episodes right now have just very much a different vibe, a different feel to them, I feel like. This feels very cinematic. This feels like we are in a 3-part arc right now. It doesn't totally feel like the last few episodes that we got. there's also just a crazy tension
So,
that they're building
where's
with
this
the
rig?
the sound in this. It's oof.
We're already too late. The clone was being hunted.
I smelled some poison ivy, and I know his future. That was a little much. And I watch superhero movies, man. I've seen some dumb things happen.
There's something here. Inside that mountain.
I believe you are right. My scans are being jammed.
Wrecker, you and Omega wait on the ship.
Wait, why can't...
Coming here was up for debate. This isn't.
Ooh, he is not playing around.
What is it?
Clone dung.
A shuttle landed here.
He's 30 feet away. I'm about this right now, man. We are plowing ahead right now with this series. This feels good. Very Empire.
I'm cloaking a couple of commandos and squads of clone troopers. And they've updated their armor.
Ooh. Updated armor.
We do not know for certain if CC-5576 is even in there. Or if he is still alive.
We'd be going in blind without any reinforcements.
Who is that?
I'll need to tap into the central database to pinpoint CC-5576's location.
There are entry points we can access in the lift shaft. That's our way in.
Oh, I wish I knew the clone numbers better, man. I don't know who that is. Ooh, that is some beefy armor. Halo-y. That's a prototype for sure.
Get ready to jump.
Ooh, man, they are like just avoiding showing you a close-up of those helmets. I can't wait. And I don't think this is going to be a full-on Stormtrooper. I mean, like, we could kind of see it, and it definitely didn't look full-on Stormtrooper. And I don't even know if we'll see that today, but, like, that progression is what I am, like, super interested in. Ooh, oh my god, look at that. Oh, it looks really Rebels. It looks like the Stormtrooper helmets from Rebels. Yo.
This doesn't make any sense. The muster report lists 50 clone commandos and 1,000 TK troopers.
TK Trooper.
TK Trooper. Did we hear that yet? I don't think so, right?
Found it. Cell block 25. 4 levels down.
Regardless, this is their first time hearing of it. That's cool.
Hey, newbie. How about you be useful? Get me some food.
Ooh, it looks mean.
That's
Traitor.
Captain Traitor.
Captain
Plebe.
Traitor.
Are you CC-5576?
That depends. Who's asking?
Rex sent us.
And the name's Gregor.
Yup. Yes. Oh, that's so cool. Oh, man. This is so awesome. The fact that we can use this show to give, like, Wolf and Gregor origins. Oh, dude, that's awesome. Great use of screen time. Fantastic. You know, I am surprised that they didn't, like, strip him of the armor completely before they threw him in that cell. You'd almost want him to have, like, nothing on.
Look at this. These are not clone troopers.
That's what I've been trying to tell you. These are our replacements, if you can believe that.
The TKs. Oh, the troopers are in. I kind of thought these were all... Well, I just thought that they might have taken clones and designated them as TKs. So this is really awesome.
I thought thought you said you trained these guys.
I didn't teach them everything. That wouldn't be very smart, would it?
And this is why stormtroopers suck.
They're escaping through the reactor port.
Ooh, glad we're not going that way.
We are on approach.
We see you.
Uh-oh. They scrambled the troops right there. Ooh, some early ties, huh? We seen those before? I don't know.
I'll do my best.
You can jump, come on. Look at those boys.
I can't hold it.
Oh, she's flying.
I'll
Cool.
take it from here. Wrecker, get on the tail gun. They're coming back around. Be ready.
Yo, oh man, we're gonna have to do it again. Oh, sick, Hunter. Oh, he really, oh my god. They are not pulling any punches right here. Oh man.
Get the ship out of here. I'll find another way back.
Negative. The odds of escape are not in your favor.
Thanks, 3PO.
No! Turn around! We have to go back for him!
Ooh, what are they gonna do right now? Dude. Whew. That was something.
I am disappointed, Prime Minister. You promised the Empire your full cooperation. Your chief scientist was gathering medical personnel.
Oh no.
To flee Camino.
Oh
This
no.
is most surprising.
I do believe you will be of great service to the Empire. A scientist I have use for. A politician I do not. I'm afraid your services are no longer needed.
Oh man. It's happening. Dude. Oh. He's here.
I figured you'd show up.
Oh man.
I was hoping for the whole squad. But you do.
Dude. Yo. Yo. Woo. 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 Yo. Wow. Dude, that was amazing. That was really, really good. Wow. Like, I just was not really expecting this. And I think that is kind of the genius of what they did with the last two episodes, maybe, is that I like the last three episodes. Yeah, and I guess even like episode 10, right? They just kind of lull you into this sense of smallness, complacency, routine. I don't really know. There is just such a different feel from the last few episodes to this one, where this one I feel like really slots in with that middle episode that we got and the premiere of the show. Like, there is just a different vibe and an X factor about it that is just next level good. An episode like this, you really feel like, no, like, this could be Hunter's End. Like, I highly doubt that is where they're going with this, but like, I could see it being that, right? Or I could see something maybe even worse than his end, right? Because a death at the end of this season just wouldn't feel as earned as it would, you know, if it was a few seasons away. You kind of want the whole batch for at least a while before you start picking members of it off. And granted, we came right into it, and that's why the Crosshair thing doesn't feel weird. And Crosshair was also kind of weird to begin with, kind of seemed like a bad guy from the start, so I don't really count all of that. But like, what would be worse would be if they, you know, re-implanted a chip within him, or, you know, found a way to essentially control Hunter. If we had a chipped up Hunter, some version, some way they were able to control him so that he's working alongside Crosshair now. Ooh, man, this is terrifying. And not that, you know, I don't love Echo and Tech and Wrecker and Omega and Gregor now, but yeah, I don't necessarily trust them all to lead. They just don't have that X factor that Hunter does. So yeah, like the batch without a leader would be scary. That would be scary probably for them, and as an audience member trying to watch what they are doing and what, you know, how can they move forward? Can they agree on anything? It would be very interesting, and I kind of don't hope that's the way they're going with this, but it would be interesting over the next few episodes maybe. But I also don't love the idea of just taking a good guy and turning him into a bad guy to be a villain for a while. Like, I've never really loved that idea in this sort of fantasy realm. When you take a good guy and flip him to a bad guy to, you know, get you over the hump of figuring out what to do next for a villain. Because it is interesting, but it's also not interesting, especially in a show like this where we've already gotten one of those. I just want one. I don't want multiple. Just leave me with Crosshair. Don't be giving me Hunter. The little tease we had, good enough. Like, that's fine. Let's not go down that route again. But I could see them almost going down that route again. And if you do it right, I guess, you know, in the rule of threes, right, in storytelling and in comedy, you'd have Crosshair, and then you'd have that little moment with Wrecker, and then you could have a moment with Hunter. Once we hit that, though, we can't do it again. Like, you absolutely cannot do it again. But I really don't even want them to go down that route. I think there's a much better, more realistic route, maybe. But at the same time, they have done things that I wouldn't have necessarily done. So they know how to tell me the story that they're trying to tell. Like I said, the lull in putting you into a weird place before we hit episode 14 into 15 and then 16. Like, this is very clear that this is, you know, a 3-episode arc. This is not a one and done sort of an episode. Like, man, even without the cliffhanger, if they ended it in a less cliffhangery way, I still think that this would lead up nicely into, you know, 2 other parts of this sort of a story. The whole idea of having Gregor and what is happening with Project War-Mantle and these new stormtroopers, the TKs, all that fun kind of stuff that we get in there, seeing these modified, you know, half clone trooper, half stormtrooper, kind of looks like the art style from Rebels, which actually kind of makes sense now, because Rebels was a callback, or at least their art style was a callback to the original sort of Ralph McQuarrie paintings. So I think what they're doing is they probably went back and looked at a lot of Ralph McQuarrie art and, you know, were inspired by maybe some of the early Stormtrooper stuff. That would be my guess, and maybe they're melding that together. So it all kind of does make sense why it looks like Rebels, and because Rebels used a lot of the earlier Ralph McQuarrie art to base some of the iconic characters on. That's why Darth Vader looks a little funny. So obviously we have the big cliffhangery things that happened, right? We have, you know, Hunter being away. We saved Gregor, got him off this planet that was housing Imperial, you know, secret facilities. At the secret facility, they're working, you know, they have TKs. This is probably the first of the stormtroopers. They have, you know, prototype or, you know, early versions of clone trooper, stormtrooper armor. The larger world is finally understanding what they're doing. man, like all of that right there is so cool. But then you get the added element of having the Kaminoans involved. Potentially, I think Lama Su is dead. I think he's dead at this point, right? Lama Su is dead. There's no, unless something happened, but man. And then you got whatever that dude's name was, the new, the replacement for Tarkin. He's taking, he has need for medical staff and personnel and things like that. And it's just like, dude, this is so going to tie directly into what we saw in The Mandalorian. I think, essentially, I think they're going to do the same thing that they're doing with the clone trooper program, which is they're going to essentially pass off their knowledge to the next generation. We're going to but that next generation is nothing like you. That is not something of your will, of your choice. Like, this is completely new. We're stealing your knowledge. We're going to force you to relay it to other people. And then that's it. Like, boom, you're dead. You're done. Dude, this, like, it has to tie into that larger picture. Like, I don't see why it wouldn't. It makes so much sense, and we need stuff like that right now. I feel like in Star Wars, we need some of that, just like major canon-y tie-ins. And I think that a show like this and sort of the nerdy side of the books, the books, the comics, TV shows that aren't the live action shows, man, like we needed some big ties to live action. So that we can, relate that, to our, the strictly film and Mandalorian fans. Now we're going to tell them about how much crazy stuff's in the Bad Batch. And I think a lot of people are going to go watch the Bad Batch after this. This is only the beginning. This is only the start. You know what I mean? Episode 15 and 16, I think, are going to be big with stuff. But at the same time, if they're not, right? If they aren't rich with all of this, like, canon connection-y, ties to bigger things sort of stuff, we got it in this episode, and it'll trickle on through probably a little bit in the other ones. But even if we don't get much, right? We get nothing new, nothing super-duper big right now. These next two are definitely going to wrap up the story in probably a very, very satisfying way. So I'm not that mad, if you continue to do the good work that you've been doing, yeah, we're going to be fine. Whether or not we get huge Easter eggs or canon connections, if we just get a continuation of that episode, of the one we just saw, episode 14, War-Mantle, if we get a continuation in 2 more episodes, from that, wow. And then if you can just have the whole season in your head moving forward, while you're creating that and developing that, putting out a good product, if you just don't only not think of the last episode, but all of the episodes as a whole within these next 2, this show is fine. Like, this show is fine. If you don't view it as an adventure to end the other adventures, right? Because some shows, I feel like, end up operating like that, where the last arc or the last episode, the last mission, the journey, whatever it is at the end, the finale, is just kind of the mission that we're going to end off on. And it'll probably be bigger and more spectacular. But really what I want them to do is think about everything that they've done so far in this season and kind of have, maybe not complete payoffs, but, have that in your head when you're developing the end of this thing. And even if you're not making direct ties and nods to other things, that I think is still going to show through big time. If you are just conscious and aware of what you have done into what you're doing, and then hopefully, and then like the little cherry on top is that you are thinking about what's coming next. And if you're thinking about what's coming next, this is going to be the perfect wrap up to this season, right? If not this show, but I don't think that will be a thing. I think we're going to go into multiple seasons of this show, because it's just too good, man. Like, this episode right here was, this was like everything I think we've been waiting for since the premiere, probably, really, or since the first few episodes. If not, at least that middle point. If you put that middle point on par with the premiere and now kind of the finale few episodes, I'm also not mad, right? Because that first episode really hit us off with a bang. And that was a big one, 70 minutes, right? And I think that we're getting the feeling right now that episode 14, this one we just watched, 15, and then the final episode 16 are going to be probably of similar heft and weight. You know, after watching this one, I think we really get that feel. It's going to be similar heft and weight to the opening of this show. And I think they will work out timing wise to be fairly similar if you crunched up all three of those episodes and then the big giant sort of premiere that they did. And I just think that is a beautiful way to do this. The big premiere was really great. It gave us a lot to chew on throughout the time waiting for the next episodes and stuff. But right now, the way that everything has gone, the way we have gotten everything, and just the way that they structured at least this episode, I don't feel totally impatient about getting to next week. Like, I totally do, right? Like, we all do. We want more of this. But I want to go back and rewatch this a bunch of times. Like, I have no problem with them spacing out these next 3 episodes over the next 3 weeks. This is the format, guys. I think you nailed it. If you're not going to do a bingeable show, this is the way to do it. This is 100% the way to do it. I still have my thoughts on bingeable shows, in that I still think that there is a place for them. Was Bad Batch one of them? Maybe. It'll be interesting to see once this whole thing is done and kind of view it. And I think that there's some alternate formats too that a show like this could have worked well for. But if you want to do these week-to-week releases, this is the way to do it. I think you guys are nailing it. You know, you've cracked the formula. But we will confirm that or deny that when we actually hit the finale of this season, episode 16. So much stuff. Absolutely loved this episode. I don't know if you could tell, but I am just in love with this episode. I think that it's one of the most perfect episodes that this show has come out with, and it just really caught me by surprise. I kind of wasn't expecting this today, and this is absolutely perfect. It has gotten me so excited for 15 and 16, and any sort of anything that I had before is gone out the window. You can literally do pretty much whatever you want, as long as there's some integrity to that storytelling, to canon. And, you just like give it a try, right? I think you're going to be fine with 15 and 16. This was absolutely fantastic. Thank you all for checking out another Bad Batch reaction. 14 of these Bad Batch reactions. I want to thank you all for watching these. And if you've missed any of them, please go back and check them out again. We have some fun discussions that really aren't closed yet. You know, there's some of them that are closed discussions, right? There's things that I talked about that, we've obviously gotten answers to already, and we will by the time that this is over. But there's a lot of big picture stuff that I've been thinking about after watching these, and a lot of stuff that I feel like a lot of you are also pulling out of these episodes. So go back and check those out. Comment below on those too, and make sure that you let me know kind of where you think I'm wrong, where you think I'm right, and what your ideas are for moving forward with some of those bigger picture ideas that could get, explored, that could get explored in season 2, season 3, 4, so on, tying to other parts of canon. How is this thing going to tie into the Mando Filoni verse? Because I really feel that it is. It's just, there's too much, man. There's too much going on here to not have it be really tied into everything else that's going on. Probably not super duper tied in. I'm not going to get so hopeful that the Bad Batch is going to show up in the Book of Boba Fett, but it would be freaking cool if it did. Anyway, guys, thank you for checking out another one of these videos. If you've liked this reaction video, make sure to click that like button down below. As well, make sure to comment on this video and let us know what you thought of episode 14, War-Mantle. What are your thoughts? What are your theories? What was your favorite part of this episode? And if you want to see more of these reactions, other reactions to Star Wars media, as well as reviews, our plot summaries of different Star Wars stories, and all of the video game content and everything else that we're doing on our Canon Collector channel, make sure to subscribe to this channel, the Canon Collector, and turn on your notifications so that you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. You can also check us out on Instagram at The Canon Collector and on TikTok at Canon Collector. This episode has absolutely been great. Super, super happy with it. Can't wait for the future. I hope that you guys are excited for these next couple episodes we got coming up as we wrap up The Bad Batch. As always, may the spires keep you, and may the Force be with you. See you guys for episode 15.